everybody's having a beautiful day. There we go. It's turning on HD. Hope everybody's having a beautiful day. I don't have anything to actually talk about today, so I wanted to have an open discussion. I was actually not even gonna do a live. Decided to do it at the last minute. We might not be that long here. Um, a couple of things I did wanna, I guess, not necessarily wanted to discuss, but are open for conversation. First, I hope everybody's having a beautiful day. I hope the Lord's blessed you. I hope the Lord's blessed you. I do pray for y'all guys all the time. I hope somebody is out there praying for me. Uh, let me go. I doubt it. I don't think so. Um, in any regard, uh, today I didn't have an actual topic to discuss, but I think this prize situation is really interesting. I don't know how much I should actually talk about it because we actually talk about a lot of topics over here that fucks us up in the algorithm. And the only way for me to not get fucked up in the algorithm is to talk about the coon shit. So I have to make a decision. And that's if I want to continue to give you good good content, or if I'm just gonna do the coon shit because I don't have no choice. Nobody is gonna support the platform unless I'm doing coon shit. So I don't really have a choice. So that's basically what I've been struggling with, like me personally, the last little while. People talk shit about my son, right? I'm gonna say something. This is in defense of him, by the way. People talk shit about him and talk about he's a sellout, all this other shit. I don't say that, by the way. But people talk shit about him and say that, right? But if he was out here not doing the things that he's doing, getting the support from the conglomerates or whoever that's supporting, would you support him? Like, would you support his movement? Would you support Until Freedom's movement? If Tamika Mallory wasn't out here doing some of the things that she does that we disagree with, would they have support? I don't think they'd have support, fam. I think they'll be yelling at nothing and nobody will be paying attention to it. So you got to choose whether you want to do God's word or whether you want to make a living. And that's the choice that we all have to make when you're in social media. And it's not hard to tell who it's in conflict and who isn't in conflict. Like I tell you, somebody who doesn't have any conflict, Boosie. You know, he'll say whatever. He don't care. He don't have no conflict. I believe that Tamika Mallory and my son, they have conflict with sometimes when they say certain things that they themselves might not think is helpful to the community. But they don't have no choice because then how are they gonna feed their family? How are they gonna survive or live? I heard some very not funny, but wow. So you know, Cuba Gooding Jr. has a brother, right? So Cuba Gooding Jr. brother, he was actually, I think he was in Baby Boy. He was smart guy. He was the best friend of homeboy that was smart guy's brother, right? That's Cuba Gooding Jr.'s brother. For everybody that don't know. So he said that his Hollywood career would have been better, but he was kind of like, I'm not going to say blackballed, but he was turned down for certain parts because in different situations he refused to play a gay black man. I'm gonna tell y'all something that y'all might not know. Y'all know Hollywood is built off of the porn industry, right? Hollywood that y'all know was built off of the porn industry. You know that, right? Like all of those first actresses and everything else that you see in Hollywood, yeah, they had to get that. What's wild is you think about how many kids acted back then in those days. Also, that's wild. So I say all that to say this: we sit around and we talk about what actors should and shouldn't do. We sit around and talk about what activists should and shouldn't do, right? Because we do that, right? But I want to just explain the difference about when I speak about it in contrast when I believe other people speak about it. I'm really ever condemning anyone. What does this have to do with prize? You know how long it takes for a rapper to get free? Some rappers are never free. You know how long it takes for a rapper to get free? You see these rappers fighting for their masters. Y'all think they just fighting for their masters. They're fighting for that contract. They need to get that contract null and voided. They needed to get that contract back because inside of that is what is inside of their rights. I made a joke the other day about when John Forte got locked up and went to jail, and I asked if Prize had something to do with it. Prize, not trying to be funny, but Prize, just so we could be clear, might have set the whole situation up. Okay, so I digress. I'll rewind. Back during the 1980s, have you ever heard of that Ira Contra Scandal? Okay, hold on. Slow down. Something that you'll be more equipped to deal with or have more people know about. Did y'all ever watch the documentary on Freeway Ricky Ross? The real documentary when he's speaking and he's talking. So I'm going to explain something real quick. One of the things that Freeway Ricky Ross said is that he was actually being paid by the CIA. I think it was the CIA or the FBI. One of them. One of them. I'm not saying he's telling the truth. I'm saying this is what he was saying. He was actually paid by either one of them alphabet boys in order to get the drugs off because they didn't necessarily want to flood the community with drugs. That was just a happy accident for them. What they really wanted to do was fund a drug war, and they had to figure out how to do it without taking the money directly from the government's coffers and putting it directly, not a drug war, but a war in another country, and putting it directly in their bank account. So what they did was they made illegal business deals that can also be looked at as, just so we could be clear, money laundering. They made illegal business deals. And inside of these illegal business deals, they were then able to move large sums of money from one people to another people without anybody knowing. So why is that a situation or something to be noticed about in this prize situation? So prize, for everybody that don't know, Leonardo DiCaprio took the stand. When Leonardo DiCaprio took the stand, one of the main things that he was basically speaking on, just so we could be clear, is the fact that they didn't know that that dude, Mr. Lowe, or whatever they call him, was actually up to nefarious purposes. What he was doing, he was trying to get money into America so he could then use that money to curry favor with our government. Now, Prize is the fall guy for this because he was the middleman. Now, what does all of this have to do with supporting a platform that you think is good? When the Fugees dropped, and then the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill dropped, they had the world. Both of those albums were inarguably at the top of whatever metric that you want to use at that period of time. What up? Oh, let me just do roll call real quick. What up, King Slayer? How you doing this morning? This is good morning. What up, D Hourglass? What up, Ganju? So they was at the top of whatever metric you want to use to say good music, right? But you trying to tell me still all parties had to go outside of hip hop in order to make money because there was no support. I wouldn't have been me. I would have just been done with life. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I can't even imagine the heartbreak that they went through. All of those years and years and years of preparing to be able to do a thing, get to where you're doing that thing and then have it snatched from you. I wouldn't be able to live with such heartbreak. And you could probably tell because I care right now. The heartbreak that they had to have gone through had to have been tremendous. For anybody that's never made anything, when you make something, that's like your baby, that's like your child. Let me recall. The wild part about all of this is didn't Trump tell y'all Obama was being funded by the Asians? I think Trump told y'all that, right? And people call him a liar. I'm gonna tell you the wildest shit. So I was on social media, as you obviously know, scrolling, and I see Trump saying mad shit. Like there's a lot of people posting things that Trump said 3 and 4 years ago that's coming to pass right now. And there's people that got the nerve to go under the post to write, oh, this is the one time he said this, or this is the, like, what are you talking about? Like, before y'all voted for the president that is currently in office, this dude Trump told y'all everything that was going to happen. And he's, for lack of a better term, has been correct. People people are really walking around out here hating people for no reason. Like literally no reason. The thing with the Central Park 5, you know how I feel about that. I've spoke on this more than once. What he did was despicable. That was in the 90s. Since then, given the opportunity, he's actually did some pretty good things for our community. So we're going to ignore everything he's ever done for our community, but we're not going to ignore what the current president did to our community. I'm going to tell you one of the most difficult things about doing this particular thing for a living. Often you have to speak positively about people that you don't agree with. And then there's going to be individuals that's going to hear you speak positively about this person and then think you agree with them. That's literally what happens. Imagine if somebody came down and said God's word and you just disagreed with them because somebody told you to disagree with them. So anyway, Prize was found guilty, which is wild because Prize being found guilty should be bad for the Democratic community, the Democrats, just so we can be clear. Because he tried to give money to Trump, and I don't think that was able to work. But he did give money to Obama. Yeah, anyway, this shit is crazy. Once again, I just want to say shout out to my son, shout out to Troy Ave. I like the fact that they have the rap battle thing going. I hope my son could just stop pretending like this isn't a rap battle. It'll go way further for him because, like, first of all, he's extremely capable rapper. Um, I personally didn't think he missed his window. Nobody raps like him. You can't miss your window. When you're the only one that does a thing a certain way, you can't miss your window, fam. So he didn't miss his window. I think it's going to be hard for him to rap the way that he want to rap with his current job description. So he has to make a decision one way or the other. He has to either get more intelligent so he can be able to say to some of the things that he want to say in a much more wittier way, like a Jay-Z would do, like a Nas would do, like a Biggie Smalls would do. Not Tupac so much. He was basically up in your face. Like a Drake would do, like a Kendrick Lamar would do. He has to get a lot more witty. And I don't blame him also, because we live in this day and age where if people act like they want rapidy rap, but they really don't. They just want to be able to say that those dudes is rapidy rappers. Like, perfect example. I think my song is better than in rapping, better than Joe Budden. I think my song is better than Joe Budden at rapping. That's just my opinion. And I hold Joe Budden very high. Don't get this confused. But I think my song is better than Joe Budden at rapping. I don't think Joe Budden is the best podcaster rapping. I mean, my son isn't podcasting, but just saying. I also don't think Joe Budden is better than Gilly, by the way, just so we can throw that out there. I don't think my son is better than Gilly either. But the point in which I'm trying to make is this. This is a good rap battle. It's one of the better rap battles probably happening in the last, I don't know, couple of months. And nobody's talking about it because my son refuses to call it a, I don't know if it's because my son refuses to call it a rap battle, but calling it a rap battle would be beneficial to him and to people actually looking and wanting to hear and see a fucking rap battle. Tell me where the lie at. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong. I had somebody hit me up and say they wanted to get advertisement on the show, but they wanted me to lead up, like how I always do whenever I have somebody that's gonna come on the platform and I'll be like, yo, we're gonna have this person on the platform. You know how I do that. And they talk to me like that's not something that I do all the time. This happened like a couple of days ago, and I don't think the person meant any harm, but that shit still bothers me to this day. Like, this person thinks I'm incompetent. Like, I'm not incompetent. I just lack resources at the moment. I'm not incompetent. I'm gonna put y'all in the game. You want to know one of the main reasons why I don't deal with my family? I'm gonna tell you one of the main reasons. And when I say my family, I'm talking about my father and my brothers. Two of my brothers specifically, but I don't talk to none of them at all to make sure that I never, in no way, nobody could try to reconcile whatever our differences is. That's never gonna happen, and that's not something I'm looking for. So, you want to know one of the main reasons? I'm gonna tell you why. It's the same thing that goes on now. I'm going to explain what goes on now so you can get an understanding. You know how I constantly tell y'all what's going to happen 4 or 5 months in advance, 5, 6 months in advance, sometimes a year or two in advance, depending on if I'm thinking, like, if it's something I put my mind to. Well, I used to have to sit there and watch these people try to gaslight me into thinking that I didn't have a good idea, just for me to not do it and for us to fail. And then for them to go do it when I'm not looking. So I don't know what y'all call that. I have no idea what anybody calls that. While at the same time, these people are doing everything behind the scenes to make sure whatever I'm doing fail. This has been since I've been born. So a lot of times I'm telling somebody about an idea. I don't tell people the whole entire idea because I assume people just want to know how to do something so they could go do it without me. So one of the things that have been happening to people lately, the last 2 or 3 years, is people have been pretending like they want to do business with me, have a conversation with me about a thing, and then they go off and try to do it with somebody else, but I didn't give them the formula. Shout out to Most High with the $5.99 with the $4.99 drop. Definitely appreciate you. Salute. But I didn't give them the formula. You get it? So they'll come talk to me, pretend like they want to do business with me. Pretend, because they don't. They just want to find out how to. Somebody that hate me went and told them that I actually do know what I'm talking about 9 times out of 10. So then they'll come to me, try to have a conversation with me, trying to figure out how to do the thing. And then all of a sudden they ghost me. And then they go try to do the thing with other people that it don't work. Then they come in my fucking chat and say that I'm scamming. This is what I'm going through. Exactly what I just fucking told you. They come to me, They pretend like we're cool. They even pay me. For other shit. And then they go try to do my idea, but they can't do it because you only know like 10% of the fucking idea. Dude, they only know 10% of the fucking idea. So they go try to do the idea. They only got about 10% of the fucking idea. Only thing I show you is the glossy part. I don't show you how to get the thing done. That don't make sense. Then I'm making myself obsolete. I don't show you. I just show you the part that looks pretty. Because 9 times out of 10, I'm going to do all the shit that don't look pretty. Then they come to the channel and they say I'm scamming. Because they couldn't make a thing work without me. So they assume that it can't work. Or I was lying. No, I wasn't lying. You just don't know. And I want to be clear about this. Almost every single thing that I came on here and told y'all about that deals with business, almost every single thing, I've done before. I'm not up here talking about some shit I've never done. I'm talking about shit I've done and have had success with. If I haven't had success with it, I wouldn't be fucking talking about it. It don't make sense. I literally only talk about stuff I know about. If I don't know about something, I don't talk about it. So it's not about I always gotta be correct. It's that I literally only talk about things I know about. If I don't know about it, I don't talk about it. When I come in and I say, yo, is there anything you guys want to discuss? That's your opportunity to come in and talk to me about stuff I might not know about. But I literally don't talk about nothing I don't know about. I'll sit there and listen. But I literally don't talk about anything I don't know about. That's a factual statement. I guess that's a new thing that they got up on there. So I had somebody, I'm explaining you why I'm telling you this. So I had somebody come up to me, and they're a real big, not just in New York City, just they're big, and they know what they're doing, and they got a solid team. So I go and I have a meeting with them. And at the meeting, they just kept saying a certain person's name that I don't fuck with. Making it like I met them through that person. So that makes me feel like I don't know if I should do business with this individual. I think God was telling me not to do business with them. How does all of this lead into what I'm talking about? The Fugees, as we all seen, broke up. One of the main reasons why the Fugees most likely broke up had to deal with outside influences. The Fugees broke up. Praz is currently going to jail. Why? Because he was a middleman for a dude that had $1 billion slush fund in Malaysia called Mr. Low, and he was helping him. The accusation is that he got convicted for. He was helping them basically wash the money and then give the money to American politicians. Why? Because they had no support. People loved the Fugees, but nobody was spending money on them. It wasn't like it is now with merch and all this other shit. Nobody was spending money on the Fugees, fam. They wasn't, if the technology existed today, If the technology existed when the Fugees dropped that exists today, they would be the biggest, they would be one of the biggest groups on the planet. Mentioned up there with fucking Wu-Tang. Off of the strength of Wyclef's ability to engineer and Lauryn Hill's perfectness. Have y'all seen a picture of Lauryn Hill in the 80s? I mean, pardon me, the 90s? She's damn near one of the most beautiful women that ever lived, fam. I don't even think that's a question. Go look at a picture of Lauryn Hill in the 80s, fam, in the 90s. She's damn near one of the most beautiful women that ever lived, fam. That ever stepped foot on this planet, fam. Of any race, any nationality, of any skin complexion. And I'm talking about Lauryn Hill with the short hair. She could rap, sing. Only thing she couldn't do was dance. She played on, well, how many instruments does she play? And they went down. Why? No support. Not because they weren't good. They have, look how many albums the Fugees have. I think they have like one actual freaking studio album. They have like one studio album, fam. One. The Fugees. I think they got like two, but After the Score was their last one, and that was their breakout album. Then the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. Praz might have had an album by itself. I have no idea. But that just goes to even more prove to the point that they were already split up. I would love now, with this being said, I would love to do a documentary style video on the Fugees. Especially more that I've been looking into and finding out about this type of stuff. This was 7 years ago, I would have did it. Because we was doing documentary style stuff about 7 years ago when I had the finances and the computers and I had this stuff that I could work with. I would definitely do a documentary style video on the Fugees, probably a 3-piece, because we want to cover Praz, we want to cover Lauryn Hill, Queen Lauryn Hill, and we want to cover Wyclef. So I will probably do 3. And I know how I write, so it'll be pretty interesting. This is what we need in hip-hop, man. Where the documentaries about, the real documentaries, not the fake documentaries, man, the real ones. After hearing what PNB Rock, RIP PNB Rock, after hearing what PNB Rock, the situation where he was talking about how he was blackballed on academics, he was talking about that. Like, that's another situation. We need real documentaries, though, fam. Like, real documentaries. Not this fake shit that they put out. All of these, the Tupac documentary, you already heard what they said about that. That shit was fake. The Biggie one, there's always problems, there's always complaints. One, there's always a problem and there's always an issue because you got people that don't want individuals to know how fucked up they were. You understand? Like, think about it like this. You know how many grown-ass adults' lives were fucked up through the course of their life because they had a bad parent who put lies on their name? You know how many people, grown-ass adults right now, still trying to recover from their parents putting lies on their name? You know how many? When I was a kid, my father used to always say, your family is your worst enemy. He said it all the time. All the time, all the time. I probably, when I was around him, I probably heard him say it 10 times a day. He said it all the time. Family is your worst enemy, fam. And then I become an adult and I see there's a lot of people that have become successful and they've come successful and they thank their family. But there's probably more people that have come successful and they talk about they ain't have one. There's probably more successful people that come from that are black sheep that aren't. So that's why when I look at somebody and they say, well, you know, whoever it is, and they talking about whatever problems this individual has with their family, you ain't there. How the fuck do you know what happened? So you mean the extremely talented individual in the family feels like an outcast from the people in the family who aren't as talented. And you don't think that this is bullying and hate. You don't think it's bullying and hate. When the extremely talented person has a problem with the other people in the family who are not as talented. You don't think this is hate. I'm going to tell you one of the best stories I've ever heard. And I'm in Coney Island currently, so this is going to be apropos. Shout out to Stephon Marbury. Listen, pay attention. Stephon Marbury had two brothers who were extremely good and could have possibly made it to the NBA, but they didn't. He did. You know what that means? That means that even though they fell short of their goal, they still were there supportive, pushing their own brother. Not a lot of us got families like that, fam. Most of us got families, if they fail at something, they don't want nobody else in the family to succeed at it so they can then be the best at it. I'm going to tell you a story. So my oldest brother, when I was a teenager, I'm going to tell you two stories. When I was a teenager, I played basketball a lot, obviously. He used to always say, you dribble too much, you dribble too much. But all I did was mix people. You know, I mixed you and then I go to the basket, I score. I'm not going to lie. I didn't pass that much. I could have passed more. But when he gets the ball, he dribble, and go to the basket also and take the shot. So it's like, curious. That's not the point, though. Hold on. That's not the story. So we have a game in upstate New York. I believe it's our hotel was in Endicott. I forget where the actual tournament was. Our hotel was in Endicott. For everybody that don't know, they got Binghamton up there, Endicott, and I think Inwell, but it wasn't in neither one of those two places. I think it was in Ithaca. It has a biddy tournament. So it's a 9-foot rim, or 8.5 9-foot rim, and it's a tournament. So one year, my brother didn't want to put me down on none of their teams because he's taking 2 teams. But he says, I'll let you bring your own team up there. I said, okay. So I go and I talk to my friends, and I get my friends to come up there on the tournament. I knew about 4 or 5 of them was my friends, and there was a couple of niggas I did not know. About 3 or 4 of them was my friends. A couple of them I didn't know. So what my brother does is, when he sees that we can beat his teams, first, he bet against my own team. My brother bet against my team. And then while coaching my team, he sat me on the bench almost the whole game because he felt like if I came in the game, we would win. So he literally coached my team just to make us lose. A little bit more backstory. So my brother liked to say that he was the best basketball player in the family. Same brother. A couple of years after this happened, when I say couple, I say about 10, 15 years after this happened, I have a cousin. His name is Hook Deuce. Shout out to Hook. Me and him used to hoop all the time. Right? So one day, while we were going to pick up a truck, I used to work on a moving truck. So my brother used to rent trucks, and we used to go pick up the truck at his budget truck rental. So one day we going to pick up the truck, and my brother's talking crazy because he's he's the best at everything. He's not though. So he goes off and he starts talking about how him and his son-in-law, they bust everybody's ass. Now my brother's a little bit shorter than me. His son-in-law is about my height. So he's busy talking about how they be playing college players, busting their ass. They busting semi-pro ball players and 2-on-2s. They just kicking everybody ass in 2-on-2s. He's just bragging about this in the office. So he starts talking shit to me and Randy. So we like me and Hook Deuce. So I'm like, all right, whatever, let's play. So he's like, making it seem like I'm just all cat, that how people like try to make it seem like, you just big talking. This ain't not a problem. So we finally lined it up to play these guys. First, I already knew he was gonna lose because he wanted to play us where nobody was at. He wanted us to go to some basketball, some court where don't nobody be at. You know how you could go to those parks that you could tell the shit is vacant? Niggas ain't been playing here in years. He took us to one of those parks in his neighborhood. We play the first game. It's kind of close, but we win. We play the second game. We washing him. He quits. Blames it on his teammate. Now, for how many years did this dude say he was a better basketball player than me and I'm busy busting his ass? You know how many people believed he was a better basketball player than me? Sometimes niggas just lie, fam. They just lie. Bust his ass. He ain't never played basketball with me a day after that. This shit happened this shit happened so many years ago, about 10, 15 years ago, damn near. Ain't never played basketball against me again. He don't even talk about basketball in my effing presence, fam. We killed them. Did I mention that my cousin Randy is, my cousin Hook Deuce, he's not that tall, fam. He's probably up to here on me. He's not that tall, fam. He quick as shit. And the way we play, he get a lot of open jump shots because I had to be double teamed at this point in my life. I still got to be double teamed now. But if you don't double team me, I'm going to go past the guy and then the defense is going to come. So after a little while, what people do is they just run up, they just start following you. Like when I go play at anywhere where people know me, generally speaking, the two tactics that they do is they run up to me, yell, scream, ah! They try to and then foul me, or they be scared, fam. They be scared. They be scared. They be scared. I'm not even in shape, man. They be scared. Whenever somebody do that, that's out of fear. Don't let nobody trick you. They scared. Whenever anybody run up on you yelling and screaming and waving their arms and then fouling you and hitting you and grabbing you, they scared, man. Don't let nobody lie to you. They're going to say everything else. Oh, he nervous. Nah, nigga, you scared. Shout out to him. Not a real shout out. I would never give that guy a real shout out. Anything y'all want to talk about? I'm talking about a lot of shit right now in a very esoteric manner. I literally had somebody trying to, and I don't think they been harmed by it, but like imagine you cook burgers for a living and somebody while you cooking your burger, they come into where you're making the burgers at and giving you directions on how to cook a burger. Now I'm not saying they've never cooked a burger, but you cooking hundreds of burgers a day. They probably cook 100 burgers in every 3 or 4 years. You cooking 100 burgers a day. But just because they didn't see the way that you do the burgers, they just assume you don't know how to do it. I don't think the person meant nothing by it, but there you go. Anything y'all want to talk about, put it in the chat. Shit's crazy. So I constantly have people telling me that they want me to post them on Instagram, but they can't even pay a nigga $10. They can't even shoot a nigga $10 to repost them. But people are constantly saying, yo, repost me, fam. Repost me, fam. And then I'll just, repost because I'm nice. So I repost somebody 20, 30 fucking times, 40 times over the course of like, I don't know, a couple of months or whatever the case is. The motherfuckers still can't support the platform. I'm just talking to the wrong people. That's all. Is there anything y'all want to talk about? Any conversation of any? Oh, one of the dudes from Takashi 69 from the how do you call that? From the situation that happened inside of the gym. Well, one of those dudes. Yeah. Why is this bar still there, yo? I'm gonna unpin and then pin it back. What happened if I unpin it now? If I pin it, what happens? She get stuck up there again? Or should just get stuck there? Okay, I'm just gonna unpin it. There's not that many comments. It should just stuck there. It's stuck on the screen. One of the dudes had the charges dropped against him. Apparently, one of the dudes that the situation happened with Takashi 69 had the charges dropped against him. I wouldn't be surprised if he's helping the government. I wouldn't be surprised if he's helping the government. I just wouldn't be surprised. But at the same time, a lot of people thought that this was fake. So we'll see if everybody has the charges dropped against them. And if everybody gets the charges dropped against them, then there's a good chance this was fake, fam. I don't know what to tell you. A lot of people believe this shit was fake. A lot of people was like, Takashi's up to his old tricks again. Yeah, a lot of people believe this shit was fake, fam. I don't know. I'm not gonna say it was fake, but I will say people will do a lot to become relevant. People will throwing their souls away. Why can't I believe that somebody will get beat up? Just so we can be clear, I want to say something. Doing something because it's the right thing to do and doing something because you love Jesus are two different things, right? Like doing something because you love God and just doing something because you believe it's the right thing to do. That's two different things. One gets you a seat in heaven, the other one doesn't. Like, so if you're just out here just doing good and saying, well, I'm a good person, I'm just going to do the right thing, which you should, don't get this confused. But it's also the purpose behind why you're doing what you're doing. Your intent means everything. You should be acting with intent. That's why I keep trying to tell people, don't get involved when other people are trying to hate on other individuals. You don't even know what you're doing to your soul, fam. You don't even know how badly you're hurting your chances of God looking down on you in a positive manner. You busy thinking you having fun. You might be thinking that the person that you attacking deserves to be attacked. That might be worse than just having fun, attacking somebody that doesn't deserve to be attacked for no reason. That screams malicious. So when we're out here and we're trying to do good in the world, we're doing good in God's name, fam. Don't forget that part. You're doing good in God's name for that reason. If you're just doing good for the sake of doing good, that's no connection with God. There's no connection with the man that we know as Jesus Christ. And the reason why I say that is because there's no way that his name was Jesus Christ. It just what? It just isn't. There's no way. English didn't exist back then, for one. There's no way his name was Jesus Christ. The letter J didn't exist back then, for everybody that don't know. Yeah, the letter J didn't exist. Remember, this comes from a different language, fam. The letter J did not exist. So that means that that sound also didn't exist, most likely. You get it? Letter J didn't exist, man. For everybody that don't know. Yeah, so do good for like, there's nothing wrong with doing good for the sake of doing good. We should be wanting to do good for the sake of doing good. But remember, we need to be acting. All of our actions should be in God's name. Every action that when you piss, when you take a crap, when you eat, when you drink, when you walk, when you speak, everything should be in God's name. So make sure that all of your good deeds are done in God's name. That's important. I think a lot of people don't know that. That's why we're never supposed to. Okay, so there's reasons that God is going to send people to war. Don't get this confused. Look up King Saul, Saul. Look up King Saul. There's reasons. He's the first king. Wait, was he the first king or the second king? No, he's the first king, right? So look up King Saul, right? So I was thinking first or third because I'm thinking King David. Yeah, that's a whole nother story, though. But look up King Saul, right? There's reasons why God will send you into battle, and there's reasons why God will tell you to have no mercy. The Bible also says, don't lean on your don't lean on your own understanding. And I think that that's what a lot of the internet is. If people leaning on their own understanding, taking no cue from the Most High. I think that's a lot of what the internet is. I think the internet was put here on purpose by the Most High to make it easier for us to understand why some people are not going to get into heaven. Also, might I add, have y'all seen Black China lately? Don't she look more attractive without all of that fucking cosmetic bullshit? I think Black China looks more attractive now. Like, for real, for real. Like, she took the fillers out of her face. That was, what the hell, fams? She took that shit out, and she downsized. I think, I'm going to say something real quick. So, I've met quite a few women that have had BBLs and all this plastic surgery and shit. And I get it that there's a lot of guys that's what they're looking for. And I think that you have a right to your own preference. Personally, me, I like slim. I mean, I want there to be a fatty on it. Don't get it confused. But I like slim, fam. Personally, me, I like slim. So I'm not the one to be so because I like slim, obviously I prefer a natural body. So I'm not the one to be standing around speaking about As much as I could appreciate how some of these women look on Instagram, when you see them in real life, the proportions, it don't fit the same when it's not on photo. It just looks different. I have nothing against anybody that gets any kind of surgery. I mean, what the fuck? How the hell I care? It's not my business. But at this and not but and at the same time, I could say that I just appreciate a natural body. I just do. So when Black China went from all of the extra shit she had going on to now she's at her baseline um power reading. I don't know what we want to call it. To me, a that's a positive thing. So shout out to Black China. Um, I you did too much, baby girl. You did a lot. If you're trying to turn yourself over to God, shout out to that. Shout out to Alexis Sky. She's also trying to do something similar. God doesn't turn his back on anybody. But you do know y'all did a lot. So it's gonna take a lot for God knows our heart, right? So that's why you could have a person that people are trying to destroy, and then God don't allow for them to go into the gutter, you know, because God knows our heart. That's also the reason why people with good hearts suffer so much. People with good hearts suffer way more than people that don't have good hearts. I don't even think it's close. One of the people that's trolling me right now, somebody that came up to me and asked me, did I want them killed about 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, and I told them no. About 5 years ago. I said, Joe, we should just kill the guy. And I said no. And I'm not gonna lie. Some days I think about how my life would be if I would have said yeah. Maybe I was supposed to say yeah. I don't know. I thought I knew. Like I thought I did the right thing at the moment. Maybe I didn't do the right thing. Maybe if I was thinking about not doing the right thing, maybe if I was thinking about King Saul specifically, I could see myself have going in the opposite direction. Um, I don't want to say who it is because then you might be able to figure out who's the person that gave me the option. So I won't mention no names. You know how they have that thing, if you could go back in time, like what would you change or whatever? There's only one instance in my life right now that I would go back and change. I wouldn't change growing up by myself. I wouldn't change uh, none of the bullshit that I went through with my family. That would be irrelevant. I mean, I can't always go back to when I was in high school if they, like they, with the thing and then go play basketball instead. That was an option. But what I think I would do is I think I would go back to when I tried to help somebody on this platform and not help them. I think I'd go back and do that. That's what I think I'd do. think I go back and prevent myself from helping people that I shouldn't have been helping. That's what I think I do. So when you see me real afraid to work with other people, you have to understand that there's a reason why I'm afraid to work with other people. Trying to help one person turn my whole life into shit. I should have never tried to help them. And their life is currently trash. So they didn't even get nothing out of it. Like, straight up a motherfucker that I don't even think they could come to New York City. I think they moved. I don't even think they're welcome back here. Like, every time I hear their name come up, all I hear is that they're a dick rider. That's all I hear. Like, people like, yo, yeah, he a dick rider. Like, that's all I hear. That's all people. And every time I hear that motherfucking name come up, people just talk about how he a dick rider. So everybody knew not to help him, basically, except for me. And the only reason why I helped him was because I was in the jail. My family put me in the jail. That's the only reason why I even worked with the motherfucker. That's the only reason my family put me in the jail. I would have never worked with him. My family being my father and my brothers. I would have never worked with them. They just put me in the jam and just fucked me up. Just fucked me up. Just would have never worked with them. So I don't know if I did right by God or wrong. Maybe I should have not have said nothing and let the people do whatever they was gonna go do, and that person wouldn't be here no more, and I wouldn't have these problems. I think that's one of the biggest regrets in my life. I should have just let the nigga die. That motherfucker's still out there bashing my name, trying to make me look like I'm a bad person, and I literally saved his life. Because those motherfuckers was ready to kill him in order to make it so they could have an attachment to. You do understand they were gonna kill him to make it so I can't leave them. You understand? You do understand this, right? What the actual issue was. If I say okay, kill the nigga, now I'm stuck with these niggas forever. You get it? You get it? You get what the problem is? This wasn't they were gonna kill the nigga and then 5 years down the road I could go about my business. You understand? This wasn't that. They was gonna kill the nigga. Now I'm stuck with these niggas forever. they become my responsibility. I can't lie, I probably would have preferred that. I should just let them kill that. Anything y'all want to talk about particularly, man? Anything y'all want to talk about specifically? Today's Friday? Today's Friday. Anything y'all want to talk about specifically? Anything y'all want to talk about specifically? Anything? I'm not talking about nothing. Been here an hour and 7 minutes. All I'm thinking about is all the problems I got. I got so many problems that the only way my problems are gonna probably go away is if I die. That's the only way my problems is gonna go away. If I die, I don't got no more problems. I ain't gonna lie, that's all I think about. Let me see if this water's out. I got no more. I die, I don't got no more problems. I don't care. All my problems. Yeah, so 19 more countries joined the BRICS foreign exchange BRICS banking system, who have agreed that they will. But I think Panama, just so we could, this is interesting. I think Panama has actually joined it also, or they plan on joining it somewhere along those lines. And Panama is one of the most important routes. You know, a lot of shit gets shipped on cargo line, on freights, on shipping containers. Panama Canal, the Panama Canal, is one of the most important, how do you say, cities of commerce on the planet, because so much traffic goes through there on those containers, on those shipping containers. If they switch over and decide that they will no longer trade in the American dollar, wowzers. And over here in America, all the Democrats want you to think about is men playing women's sports and shit like that. Shit's crazy, fam. That's all they want y'all thinking about. Letting men play women's sports, man. They destroying everything women have, fam. Women don't got nothing no more. And you can't even advocate for the women because they're going to say you're trying to stop trans rights. Because they women too, apparently. So, women are screwed, fam. Women are screwed, fam. Don't let nobody lie to you. You can't even advocate for the rights of your daughters. Yeah, it's just funny to me. I ain't gonna lie. But when I was growing up, like, I don't know what to say. I mean, it is what it is, man. Shout out to the Democrats. Shout out to the Democrats peeling and making it so men and women, like, there's no genders. I don't know how that works. Shout out to the Democrats. The funny thing is, and this is the most hilarious thing about all of this to me, you still got people in America concerned with whether how Donald Trump paid his prostitute off, and they more concerned with that than what the American government is doing with the tax money. So I don't know what to tell you, fam. And I'll say it again. You got people more concerned with how Donald Trump paid off his prostitute than you do with people concerned about how America. Okay, so remember about 3 years ago, I told y'all that that we was going to be going through a food crisis situation that we're currently in, by the way. Do y'all also remember the reason why I was explaining that we was going through a food crisis situation? All right, so this is what you got to understand why your food is costing so much more money. All right, there's a couple of things happening. This is one. Let's say I have, I don't know, cattle or whatever, right? I got to feed that cattle, fam. I mean, they can only graze out in the pasture, but so long. I got too much cattle. We a whole cattle farm. We got too much cattle. There's only but so much grazing and shit they could do. At some point or another, we have to literally go purchase bales of hay and all types of other shit to feed them, right? These are factual statements, right? So what happened is the price of that shit skyrocketed. So now if the price to feed the cows that's going to market skyrocket, what is the price of the cow going to do? And it's by no fault of the farmer. Okay, hold on. Let me tell you another reason why our shit is going up. Prices of food. You know that they're trying to run a shitload of black farmers off of their land? Anybody knows about that? The Democrats don't talk about that. They busy talking about how we're going to have men playing in women's sports, because apparently men should always have been playing in women's sports since the beginning, if you ask the Democrats. So they're running black farmers out of business, fam. They're doing shit to make it so that the farm don't produce. You understand? There's people going, there's people sabotaging. They had to get a damn militia force out there, I think the Mississippi or somewhere. So hold on. They just had to go get a militia. I forgot the name of the militia. I followed the dude online. I don't want to call the wrong name. I think Newsom. I think that's his name. They had to get a militia out there to guard one of the black farms. So they're destroying some of the farms, and then the other farms that are actually not being destroyed. All of the farms are having a problem with feeding their cattle, by the way. But the farms that aren't being destroyed, now there's less in the market because you got all these other farms that are literally being destroyed. So now, instead of having, black farmers is only what, like 10% of the farms or some shit? Not that much. Also, who's the biggest farm owner in America? Anybody know who owns the most farms in America? Bill Gates, I'll just tell you. He owns the most farmland in America. Bill Gates. He owns the most farm in America, just so we can be clear. By far. Bill Gates. That's a fact, Darkwing. Salute. So he owns the most, and by far. It's not close, just so we can be clear. It's not close. So now when you hear about these black farmers getting ran off their land, it's not hard to put this shit together, fam. It's not. It's just, you just have to know enough about enough different shit to understand what's going on in America, fam, or understand what's going on anywhere. You just have to know enough different things about different things. That's it. So obviously, you know what the black farmers are up against. How about the black farmers talking about they was giving seed that didn't work? Did y'all hear about that? It was the black farmers that, because they all got to buy seeds from the same place, for everybody that don't know. When you own these farms, you're not even allowed to plant shit that ain't supposed to be. They control everything that you do. So a lot of the black farmers will actually send seed that don't work. Did y'all know about that? So we're about to really, really, really have a food problem. Y'all thought that when y'all ran out of Similac and Mexico had Similac, when y'all ran out of baby food, Mexico had all of the baby food, fam. America just, the United States of America just didn't have it. So start paying attention. Because there's a lot of, we have food shortages in this country that don't exist in other first world countries. Why is that? I'm going to say that again. We have food shortages in America that does not exist in other first world countries. Why is that? There was a tampon shortage. Now, what has all of this got to do with what I'm talking about? What did I just say happened? I think Panama joined whatever that BRIC shit is. If the rest of the world is all using Chinese money, fam, guess what America's going to have to start doing in order to do business with the rest of the world? And your politicians is over here trying to put Donald Trump in jail instead of work on that. Your politicians is over here trying to get Donald Trump locked up because of the way he paid off his prostitute. Instead of make sure that we don't get effed up and our dollar don't fall below China's dollar. But y'all going to vote these Democrats back in the office, and y'all going to do it because y'all hate Donald Trump. Also, might I add, when Donald Trump was in office, our dollar was probably the strongest it's been in how long? During a pandemic. Imagine what he would have did if there was no pandemic, fam. They have you hating on people you should be learning from. Satan will have you hating on people that you should be learning from. Imagine what Donald Trump would have did with no pandemic, fam. Which they forced him to speak on. They forced him to do all of that shit that he had actually did with shutting down the country. He didn't want to do that, remember? Everybody forgets that part where Donald Trump did not want to shut down, except for when it works to whatever the narrative is that they're trying to spit. When Donald Trump didn't want to shut down America, they forced him, fam. When Donald Trump spoke out against the vaccine, that the people who made the vaccine says it doesn't even work the way that we told y'all it was supposed to work. It doesn't do any of the things that we told y'all it does. They guys got on the freaking, they said this in a court of law in Europe, fam. In a court of law in Europe, they literally said that the vaccine does not do any of the things that the U.S. is claiming it does. And what are they still doing over here in the U.S.? They still trying to convince you to go get a vaccine. Fam, this is just shit straight out of an Archie comic. I don't know what to tell you. People will have you hating people you should be learning from. People will have you hating people you should be learning from. I don't know no better way to say that. I don't know no other way to say that. I don't know no other factual way to put that. What up, Calvin Shacklefoot? I haven't seen you in a dumb long time. Hope everything is going well with you. Rusty Shacklefoot, for everybody that ever watched King of the Hill. I'm drinking coffee with no sugar currently. I don't even know how I feel about that. I ain't gonna lie to you. It's not bad, but you know, then you'd be like, I remember how coffee tasted with sugar. That shit was good. But you know, this is not bad. Anything else y'all want to talk about? You put a couple of other things up there. Let's see what else you put. No, I'm not eating any stem cell meat. First of all, just so we can be clear, is this stem cells that the baby stem cells? You know, from what they get from the abortions? I know when they do the abortions, they take the stem cells of the aborted baby. So where they getting these stem cells from? That's one. That's the first thing I want to know. The second thing is this. There's a reason why they want black people to have all the aborted babies. I'm trying to avoid all the drama, fam. I'm trying to avoid all the drama. As soon as we get some kind of support back to the platform, all the drama will be avoided. That's the best way I could put it. That's the only way I could put it, and that's extremely mysterious way to speak. But that's the way that I have to talk. I can't tell people what I'm exactly doing or exactly anything. I need to speak about things in a roundabout manner. And I 100% needs support to the platform. Anyway, neither here nor there. So where they getting these stem cells from, fam? That's one. Two, that's one of the main reasons why they want they aborting all these black babies. Think about that part. Think about that part. I don't want no babies aborted. I'm upset that our community leads in the abortion of babies damn near, and we a freaking minority, fam. Got this chick that lives across the street from me. I think she's an Instagram model. I'm not 100% sure. I think she's like an Instagram fitness person. If she isn't a fitness person, she could be. And she tall too. If she isn't a fitness person, she 100% could be. That's a fact. That's a fact. Dude, they have this thing going on. I'm trying to be as fair as possible when speaking on this. But they have this thing going on, just so we can be clear, where okay, so this is the problem we actually have in the community. The problem we actually have is that everybody fucking everybody else. That's the problem. That's the issue. That's the problem. Everybody's sleeping around, and we don't date anymore for marriage. That's the problem. Okay? So you're going to have a lot of people that's going to get pregnant by people that they don't want to get pregnant by, because that's just what's going to happen. We don't date for marriage, fam. We date people nowadays so we could be with them for a couple of months. So some chick will date some dude because she know her man locked up. He doing 5 to 10. So she'll date him until it's time for him to come home. Some guy will date some chick because he don't want to be lonely. Or some chick will date some dude because they don't want to be lonely. While at the same time, that other person dating you to marry you. That's the problem that we have in our community. You can't tell some of the time who's dating, just because I had somebody come up to me and we was talking and they were just interested in just fucking. That's not what I'm interested in. So I didn't want to get involved with them. Right? So that sounds crazy. Like, that's bananas. Most people would be like, that's bananas. So she wanted to have sex with you, but you didn't because she didn't want to have a because she wasn't looking for a relationship. That sounds bananas to people. Go look at what God calls a marriage. Just go look at what God calls a marriage. One, you'll stop going to these freaking places and getting paperwork. That's one. You'll 100% stop doing that shit. When you find out what a real marriage is under the Most High and in His name, you'll realize you don't need to go to no court of law to go get a piece of paper saying that you married to somebody. Don't need to do that. That's not something that you need to do. What you need to do is find somebody that y'all willing to be together. Just so you know. So if you understand what being married under the Most High is, you wouldn't be out here just sleeping with people randomly all the time, anytime you could get it. You just wouldn't do that. Especially if you're a female. Especially if you're a female. And I don't want to hear, was it always different for guys than girls? One of us has a penis and one of us has a vagina, fam. We're not the same, fam. We're not the same. One of us, our muscle mass grows at a different rate than the other. On a physiological standpoint, our bodies are different. Not the same. Before the current iteration of America, before the 1950s, it was a man's job to do certain things. Because of technology, those needs aren't necessarily as prevalent. because those needs aren't as prevalent, they tried to make the man extinct. That didn't work. That's why they're now trying to make women extinct. They feel that's going to be easier. It didn't work to make men extinct. There's too much shit out here that a man has to do. You need men. You need women too. Don't get this confused. But you need men. Okay, so the majority of construction workers who build our infrastructure on our planet, what are they? The majority of the people that come up with the people who build planes, the majority, who are they? The people that build cars, the majority, who are they? The people that build cars, buses, that do any type of actual manual physical labor, who are they? So I'm saying all that to say this. This is no disrespect to women. They tried to get rid of men. The feminist movement. When they figured out they wasn't going to be able to get rid of men because women do not match up one for one with a man. It's just that isn't what it is, fam. This isn't me being sexist neither. It's just that isn't what it is. When you go to other countries, this is an acknowledgement. When you come to America and Canada, these are not acknowledgements. This is a totally different universe. When you go to other countries, their women don't believe that they could just walk out in the street and beat men up randomly. You come to America, women genuinely believe this. That they're physically as opposing as men. This is a genuine belief in America, fam. You go to other countries, they don't necessarily have this kind of belief. It's not widespread. Now look, listen, pay attention. The number one thing that's used against men nowadays is that marriage. That's what they're using against men. The threat of divorce. You could be a good man and it don't matter. Are EVs? What's EVs? You could be a good man, it don't matter. A woman will divorce you. I want to be fair on this. Some people will generally divorce you for the stupidest reasons in the world. Don't get this confused. But the thing about men is this. Generally speaking, as long as she isn't cheating, and as long as she isn't talking down on you, and as long as she just know how to do a cursory taking care of the household, a man will go to work every single day, bust his ass, and make sure she has everything that she needs. With the bare fucking minimum. And remember, these are jobs: sanitation, a mover, construction, hard labor jobs. He will go bust his ass, and his wife is giving him the bare minimum at home. Also, he got to deal with arguments all day. A woman isn't going to go through that, fam. A woman isn't going to watch her man at home all day. I don't care if he's the best home taken care of ever. Unless she's rich. And she is fine having a trophy husband also, in addition to that. She's not going to go bust her ass every day to come home and see this man just taking care of the kids. She's just not going to do that, fam. She's going to go get herself another man. All the D-glass is boredom. Men are being divorced over stupid reasons. Yes, that's a stupid... You know how dumb it is to say you don't want to be married to somebody no more because you're bored? Because you're bored. I want to say something. Shout out to Kendra. So, when I was with Kendra, one of the dopest things that she did was always have events and stuff like that lined up for us to do all the time. Like, there was always shit lined up for us to do. Now, it wasn't overwhelming. Okay, so for a little while, I was staying with a relative. I was staying with my brother and his wife. Shout out to that. I appreciate that situation. I in no way want anybody to reach out to me and talk to me in any manner. I do appreciate the situation. That was a blessing. But I in no way at all ever want to speak to any of you again. So please don't try to reach out. So with that being said, also because, remember, he has a family. He has a couple daughters, 2 daughters. He has a wife. They got lives. They're doing stuff. They're doing stuff outside of what their regular everyday life is also. Don't get this confused. Right? But I felt like there was no room. It's like every single day. It's like we didn't have enough. Okay, so I'm trying to be fair on this. So Kendra always had things for us to go do, which I thought was dope. We didn't always go do the thing because sometimes we just took a day off. For my particular personality, that's great. I kind of like going out, but I don't like having to deal with bullshit. So to have a person or be in a relationship with a person who's going to go find things for me to do that's new, that I haven't done before, but also it's not going to overwhelm my senses, is great. The point in which I'm trying to make is you got people marrying people for the wrong reason. Now, when I hung out and I was at my brother's crib, and I appreciate that, believe me, I do. Please don't contact me. I don't want to speak to none of y'all ever again. I don't even want to speak to people who know you people, just so we can be clear. So that was great. There was just, because this isn't actually not a criticism. That was great. But at the same time, the thing that made it the biggest difference was when me and Kendra got finished with an event, then we went home. It was over. I didn't really, you have to be with people who, the reason why there's so much divorce is because you got people doing what they consider to be settling when they're not settling. That's really just the best you could have did. You understand? I'm going to tell you something men do and women do that's totally the opposite. A woman will lie to her friend about what they deserve. A man will keep it a stack with you. A woman will lie to their friend. A woman will be like, yo, you deserve better than him. That man doing everything he can do. But a woman will lie to her friend and say, you deserve better. Because you have to say that to another female if you're a female. They won't say, also, you know, when somebody tells you you deserve better, you start agreeing with that, and you're already in a pretty good situation. You do know that that's going against the Most High, because that's not being grateful, right? So in reality, a lot of women are getting divorces because they're not grateful for what their husband is doing. Who gets the most divorces in America? Anybody here knows who divorces the most in America? Anybody here know who divorces, who initiates the divorces the most in America? I'm gonna help you out. It's women, but do you know which women? It's women, but do you know which? Also, if you are enjoying any aspect of this show, you could drop something in the Cash App. We can always use it, but we can definitely use it today if you could drop something in the Cash App if you are enjoying the show. If you aren't, I don't expect you to. If you are, I don't expect you to. You know, it would just be a good thing, I guess. So do y'all know it's women? Overwhelmingly, I think women initiate like 80 to 85% of the divorces. But do you know which women are actually the main culprits? I give it another moment just in case anybody would just want to make a random guess. Nobody don't never want to comment here unless they just attacking me. That's the shit that killed me. I ain't gonna lie. I be getting ready to come on the show in the morning and I be like, people really don't like coming into my chat unless they attacking me. Like, damn. Like, people don't even want to have a conversation with me unless they just attacking me. Like, that shit is crazy, fam. That shit is crazy. That shit is fucking bananas, fam. To never really, to really ever be able to have a real conversation. Like, only way you could talk to people is if they attacking you. And then people don't get why I constantly just think people are like, because almost every conversation I have is that. Anyway. Overwhelmingly, it's women. But I also think at the top of that list, it's black women specifically. Imagine divorcing somebody because you're bored. Somebody that's doing all of it, whether you're a man or whether you're a woman. Imagine divorcing somebody because you're bored, while that person is doing everything they can to keep a roof over your head and keep food on your table, clothes on your back, raise the kids, whatever it is. But you're divorcing them because you're bored, fam. That's just spitting in God's face. I pinned it, fam. I don't think that's going to help, but it's pinned. It don't matter how good I am at anything. None of that matters. Don't matter for me. It matters for other people. Don't matter how good I am at anything. It doesn't even make sense for me to try to get better at anything because it don't matter. Anyway, what are we talking about? Marriages, abortions. Yeah, so there's a whole attack on women, fam. So we got to look and see what's really going on. First of all, the head of Jesus Christ is God. The head of man is Christ. The head of woman is man, and the head of the child is the woman. So literally, we can't get to God except for through Christ. I'm going to repeat that. And I need for y'all to pay attention. So the head of Christ is God. The head of man is Christ. The head of woman is man, and the head of the child is the woman. So we can't get to God except for through Christ. Right? Anybody else knows what else that's saying? Does anybody else even have an idea of what else that's saying? Just so we can be clear. I repeat it. The Bible says that we can't get to God. He says, the Bible says the head of God, the head of Christ is God. Jesus Christ is God. The head of the man is Jesus Christ. The man that we know is Jesus Christ. Yahushua. The head of the woman is the man, and the head of the children is the woman. So, we can't get to God except for through Christ. So what is that saying? Just think about that. Just something to think about. Something to pay attention to, something to think about. Also, in the Bible, it specifically says that God made man in his image, right? It says that specifically in the Bible, right? So how do you think God feels when somebody he made in his image says that they don't want to be a man, they want to be a woman? Not attacking anybody. Just something to think about. So when I look at America and I see all the shit that we going through right now, there's two reasons why you go through hell that I could think of. The first reason is you're just going through tests, right? And what a test really is Satan seeing that God has favor, that you have favor with God, and Satan trying to get you to do things that's going to send you to hell instead of to heaven. That's what the tests are. Just so we can be clear. Satan is trying to get you to denounce God. He's trying to get, just like with Jesus, when he said, if you bow down to me, everything in this world will be, yours, or whatever the case is. So that's one reason why we go through hell. A second reason why we go through hell is because we're continuously sinning. So I don't deal with anybody, I don't go around anybody, and I stay away from people. And one of the main reasons why I do that is to show to God that I'm not doing anything worth something bad happening to me. I'm not doing anything. So I don't talk to nobody, I don't go around nobody, I stay away from people. So when I die, God's not going to be able to say, I was doing this and I was doing that. I wasn't doing any of those things. Another reason why I do that is so when people lie on me, God will hold them accountable. That's another reason, just so we can be clear. That's another reason, just so we could be clear. I want God to hold the people accountable. So I go through my whole life trying to never do anything that's wrong. So however I die, those people could be held accountable for what they did in God's eyes. So I don't go around nobody. I stay to myself. If somebody is telling you I'm doing something, they just lying. Like that's all they could be doing. They can't be doing nothing else. So The biggest point I can make is I try to never, under any circumstances, go outside. Ever. The only reason why I go outside is so I could get content for you guys. Other than that, I don't go outside. I never want to go outside, ever. Um, the thought of it causes anxiety. I don't never want to go outside. Um, People are just evil, so I don't want to. I don't really want to go around people. Ever. Sorry about that. I thought. What we talking about? I don't know. Just trying to replace women. So I see Brianna. No, what's the chick that was in Japan or that was in Russia? Basketball player. I forgot her name. So she just came back a while back, whatever the case is. So she's in America now, and she said something that was interesting. She said, I don't know who that guy is, but if they on YouTube or Instagram, I don't want to argue with nobody. No, people want to do is argue with me, so I doubt I'm gonna check them out. People don't treat me like they treat regular human beings, so I don't think that I might look at something they're doing, but I'm not gonna comment. I wish to God that people. I wish I was treated like the rest of you. I'm not. Um, Wait, what? So I forgot her name. Uh, the chick that was in Russia. So anyway, so they asked her she gonna play basketball overseas ever again. She's like she doesn't. She wouldn't speak out against other females doing it or other ladies doing it. She wouldn't speak out against them, but she's not gonna do it, right? So I found a couple of things interesting. One, she said stopping men from playing in women's sports is wrong, apparently. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that guy is good, but if I talk to him, he gonna want to argue with me. That's the way I feel. I feel like if I talk to anybody, they gonna want to argue. I don't want to argue. It sounds irrational, but that's literally what my life is. Like literally. Just people wanting to know what I think about something so they could tell me the opposite. That's just what my life is. I probably had about there's only one or two people that I've talked to maybe in the last 3 or 4 years that don't do that. But generally speaking, that's what everybody does. They just try to find out what I think so they can argue. Um, whatever, Letitia. I don't have the life you guys have. I live a different life. I don't have like love and stuff like that in my life. I never had it. Like I guess when I was dating Kendra, like that's the closest I've ever really been. Anyway, so apparently she's saying that men transgenders should be able to be in women's sports. So the Democrats want to remove women and the Republicans want to renew the nuclear family. Those are the two agendas. In a nutshell. I heard about there's a community online of black women that they only have an abortion if they gonna have a black boy. And this is coming from somebody that absolutely hates being alive. That's a fucked up way to decide you're gonna have an abortion. Every other country on the planet holds having a boy, having a son as a positive thing over having a daughter. Not saying that it should be that. But America has it the exact opposite, whereas having a daughter is applauded And having a son necessarily isn't. So shout out to the Democratic Party. Said that "we outside" phrase is annoying to me now. I mean, ugh. It had its moment. I guess that's the thing you yell when you partying though. We outside. I don't take "we outside" as we outside. I take "we outside" as we having fun. We enjoying ourselves. We outside. We enjoying ourselves. And I think that might more come from what people forget is when I was growing up, going outside was the thing to do. Like you really didn't stay in the house. Like you went outside. That's where all the people were. That's where all the things to do was. There wasn't as much shit to do in the crib. Like what are you doing in the crib other than sitting up under your parents? So going outside was the thing to do. So when I hear "we outside" nowadays, I kind of takes that more as we having fun, we enjoying ourselves. Because everybody goes outside with the exception of me. I hate going outside. Um, so I take that as we enjoying ourselves. That's what I take that as. What up to the few? That's what I take that as. We enjoying ourselves. We having a good time. That's what I take that as. We 2 hours in. Anything y'all want to talk about? If not, I'm just gonna let y'all go. Shout out to somebody did a donation. Shout out to Most High with the $5 drop. Definitely appreciate you. If you want to donate to the Cash App, you could donate to the Cash App. I'd really appreciate it. I could really use some donations today. If not any other day ever that I was born or lived, I could use some today. With that being said, I'm just gonna let y'all go. Everybody just you're not me, fam. So you got a chance. You're not me. I don't know other way to say that. You're not me, fam. Whatever it is that you want to do in your life, you could do. You're not me. So whatever the thing is that you want to go do in life, just go do it, fam. And when it gets hard and you think you're not, just remember, I'm not Jack Frost. You're not me, fam. Like, comment, subscribe. Join the notification gang. #BronxBones. Let's get it. I love y'all. Take care of each other. Hug the kids for me. That's all I got on this one, and I'm out.